Rockstars, it's Lij Shaw with Recording Studio Rockstars, and I'm here today with Mr. Chad Brown, Grammy Award-winning mixer, good friend of mine. How you doing, dude?
Doing great. Thank you very much.
And Chad's been doing some awesome mixes recently using Fab Filter plugins. You're using the demo, which I think is good for 30 days, right? So
that's correct.
Yeah, so same thing anybody could do. You guys could go check him out as well. But Chad had some really nice things to say about it, so I thought you'd take you in and show you guys around. We're going to show you guys the Fab Filter Pro-Q, which is the EQ plugin. So Chad, take it away. Tell us about this band we're working with and what you want to show us today.
All right, this is a band called Zuni Mountain Boys and a song called Pink Flamingo Blues that was all recorded live, so that everybody in the same room. So that's one of the great things for EQ, to show some of the challenges of all these live mics at the same time.
Dig it. We'll jump right in and then take a look. All right, cool. So what are we looking at right now?
Well, right here, this is the Pro-Q2, and one of the things you'll notice first off is there's a real-time analyzer that runs that shows both your input and your output. Other quick things to note are over here you have your phase and a cool auto gain matching feature. And so this is your with your output level. So let's see what we've got. So you see right away I got a lot of woof, and then you've got high-end information in there that I'm going to want to filter out. So I'm going to go, as an easy jumping off point, they've got a lot of presets, so I'm going to go to the 5-band preset that'll bring up highs, lows, and just a couple EQ points. And let's see what we can do here.
So wait, is our filter enabled yet? Do we have to enable those guys, or do they just start filtering right off the bat?
They do not start filtering off the bat.
Cool. That's cool, though.
So you've got your on and off button right here. What a great transition. So I'm typically more inclined to cut than boost most of the time, and so I really actively use the band cues.
Yeah, that's cool. I've definitely heard a lot of people talk about the power of subtractive EQ before boosting. All right, cool. So you're doing a low cut for taking out some of the subs, and then it looks like you're doing sort of a dip to take some of the boxiness of the kick drum out.
That's correct. And with the low cut here, you can see that there's also, you can select the octaves and how intensely it do low cut. Let's go ahead and take those highs off as well. That is a shelf. So let's go in. I grabbed the shelf. Let me go back over here. Boom. And so let's hear what that sounds like. So you can see from bypassing, it just kind of cleaned us up there.
Dig it. Seems to have made it louder too. It seems like it might be getting some boost as well. Well, so all right, cool, man. What about so what are these? You do some low cut, sort of take out the boxiness. You do anything to the top end of the kick? It looks like you shaved a lot off.
Yeah, and that's because of it being a live track and just trying to clean up. I'm going to have a lot of information bleeding into other places, so it's to try and clean up phase relationships between all my individual mics.
Okay, cool.
Let's move on to the snare here and see what we have. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. Once again, you can see it comes up blank. As opposed to going to my default setting, one thing that's really cool is it's kind of just an a la carte mode. You hover your mouse here, and if you press the mouse and start moving something, it's instantly on.
Dig it.
So that's kind of just a quick grab and go sort of feature. So let's hear these together. Okay. So, cut out a little low end information again, and just sort of sucked some of the mid range out and kind of gave a little boost there to give it to some snap. I feel like, particularly with like snare drums, that's where boosting sort of comes in handy, as you actually do get a little more crunch out of it, for lack of a better word.
Excites the snare a little more.
Sure.
Right? All right, cool. So what are some of the typical, you talked about this being a live track. What's some of the typical challenges that you're going to run into as far as kick and snare goes? Anything particular there, or is it more in the other mics?
It's really going to be more in the other mics, because kick and snare are typically loud. So when we get to the vocal mic, you're going to have acoustic bleeding. And, there's 6 people live in the room. So there's 2 vocal mics, an acoustic mic and a dobro mic, as well as upright bass, and they'll all be quite hot. So we're going to make sure that those all jive together.
Okay, cool. So take us there. Let's see what's next.
Quick feature I want to touch on here is, let's solo all these drums. This mode down here this is 0 latency, so you can monitor when tracking. If you switch these over, you can go to natural phase. That'll emulate the natural way an analog EQ works.
Okay, dig it.
So now let's go and hear these all together.
You said love is a fickle thing, then you order us another drink. It's got a tiny umbrella, flamingo on the front.
But that sounds
Vocally
awesome,
cute.
dude.
Hey,
That
thanks a
sounds
lot.
so groovy, man.
Thanks a lot.
All right, so what's that? What's that big iron railroad spike going on in the middle of your EQ?
So one of the tricks that I learned from a good friend is, a lot of times in your 600 to 800 up to 1K range, when you feel like something's not sitting in the same room as everything else, particularly with a vocal, you can take yourself a very narrow Q over here, and then really just dip it. Let's bypass this EQ and hear what we've got.
You said love is a fickle thing, then you order us another drink.
That just kind of comes off as a little bulky to me.
Okay,
So,
cool. The vocal does?
Yeah, it's just, so if we go in here, I can solo this thing up, and I'll leave it in bypass for a second.
You said love is a fickle thing, then you order us another drink.
So we've got, the drums, the EQ, there's a lot of that mid-range information that's in there. So hitting the bypass here.
You said love is a fickle thing, then you order us another.
Just trying to excite that a bit. Again, pulling out some of the low-end information with our filter. And one of the really cool things that comes up, I went for the default of the flat 7 band. And one of the things that brings up this mid-range, this is a really cool feature of this EQ, is it has a tilt, a lot like you would see on an old record player. It's kind of how they used to do EQs. And so you can take this, and as I move it up and down, it just shifts. So you can like tilt towards the low end, the high end. I can move this around. And so, it's like generally bigger on the low end, generally brighter. And, with the Q, I can control the slant of that.
That's cool. So that's like a super easy way to just sort of brighten it or get a little more heft and low end out of your mix.
That's right. Literally tilts.
Literally tilt. Cool,
So
man.
let's
I
go
haven't
here.
used that yet. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a very, very cool feature. Again, it's, it makes a difference listening in the track, but I seem to prefer this natural phase.
You use it in the 0 latency mode so that it doesn't mess with people's headphones, but then once you're done with the recording, you're able to flip it over to the natural phase mode, which sounds more like an analog original EQ, and you dig the sound of that. So that's a cool feature where you can kind of use it while you're recording, and then it sounds even better after you record.
It's not that I'm bound to one or the other, but I mean, you can flip through these and you'll hear slight differences. And if one seems to sound better than the other, then go with that. It's always nice to try everything.
Awesome. Well, dude, thanks for showing us these super cool tricks, man. Well, thank you so much for showing us really cool stuff. You guys, Rockstars, you can find out more about this. If you want to download the demos and try them yourselves, just go to fabfilter.com and you can get a 30-day demo there and check it out. If you are interested in learning more about Chad's work, Chad, you can find him at
spacemonkeysounds.com.
Dig it. And again, that was the Zuni Mountain Boys giving us their music. Thank you so much for that, guys. You totally sound awesome. And lastly, but not leastly, if you guys are interested in learning more about mixing yourselves and taking your mixes to the next level, you can go to mixmasterbundle.com. And there I've got over 2 hours of free mix training videos for you, including an ebook that explains how I recorded the multi-tracks on the session. Plus you get free downloadable multi-tracks there. So go check it out. Learn more about mixing. Enjoy yourselves. Be a rock star. We'll see you guys in the studio.
See you later.
Cheers.